One of the most common complaints from golfers is that they can't bring their practice game to the course. And the main reason why is because they're not practicing effectively. And more importantly, they're not varying the type of practice that they're doing. Well, if you have a Trackman, that shouldn't be an excuse anymore. Over the past 20 years, I believe they've made the best practice environment in the golf industry. Hi, my name is Jon Sherman. I'm the author of the book, The 4 Foundations of Golf. For the past decade, I've been using simulators effectively to take my game to the next level. And in this video, I'm going to show you some of Trackman's practice features and how to use them effectively when you're working on your game. So there's a ton of environments. Let's break down each of them and how they work. Okay, let's start with the most common one, which is range mode. All of you are probably familiar with it. This is kind of the default setting for Trackman. You'll get simulated ball flight and a rich amount of data on your club head delivery and ball flight. The range is a great place to initiate your practice session and start dialing in your numbers. Now, Trackman gives you a wealth of information, and for teaching pros, this is gold. But if you're going at it on your own, I would recommend customizing your view to make it a little bit more simple. You have the ability to just show the metrics that are important to you, like carry distance, club path, angle of attack, smash factor, or even spin rate. The last thing I want you to do is overwhelm yourself. It takes a lot of time to understand how all these numbers work together, and you don't need to see them all at once. So the range mode is the most straightforward feature. You'll see this on most simulator softwares, but what I'm going to get into next is where Trackman really differentiates itself. Now let's talk about target practice, which is one of my favorite features. Repetitive or blocked practice has its place, but golfers also have to simulate on-course scenarios more if they want to take their practice game to the course. So in target practice, you can create a series of real greens at different distances. Also, you can customize the difficulty of the landing area for your skill level. For example, you could create a green with water on the front and a back right pin location to help match a scenario that you might be seeing on the golf course. And if that's not enough, you can move your golf ball anywhere you want in this environment. So if you want to create a wedge shot over water to give you a bit more pressure, or put an obstacle on one side of the hole, the Trackman software allows you to do this. Now here's a really important tip. You can hit the same shot over and over again to the same target, but I would love for you to randomize targets as well. This is going to heighten your awareness and actually make you more engaged in the target. So I would suggest mixing it up between hitting to the same target and then randomizing. Now, if you want more feedback on each shot, the Performance Center can add a bit more pressure. So similar to target practice, you can customize the types of shots you're hitting and the targets you're hitting too. You can randomize wedge shots, work on stock yardages, and change green layout. But the best feature, in my opinion, is the strokes gained feedback. If you're not familiar with strokes gained, it's a way to assign value to each shot you're hitting relative to other golfers. For example, let's say you hit your 7-iron on the green 60 feet away and then hit it 10 feet away. Obviously, we know the second shot is better, but statistics like green in regulation cannot add that level of detail. This is where strokes gained comes in. So while you're practicing in this mode, you're going to know whether each shot has gained strokes or lost them. So my one piece of advice is to be extremely intentional in the Performance Center. So give yourself a little extra time rather than just rifling through every shot. And the best part is that Trackman's app, which is absolutely incredible, is going to keep track of your performance from all these different distances. So over time, as you use the Performance Center more and more, you're going to start to see the strengths and weaknesses of your game. So this is one of my favorite features in the whole software suite. Now let's talk about the Test Center. So I believe one of the main benefits of using any simulator is running tests on your equipment and measuring your ability with different clubs in your bag. This has helped me so much with strategic decisions on the course, as well as making sure I have the right clubs in my bag. In the Test Center, you can customize pretty much any scenario you can imagine, and this is gold for analytical players who want to optimize their on-course decision making. You will receive scoring feedback on each shot, but more importantly, you can visualize shot dispersions and other data points to help illustrate you the clear winners of your tests. One of my favorite tests is doing a distance control challenge. So this is where you can take a yardage where you're in between clubs, which is a scenario you face often on the golf course. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna hit a series of shots where you take less club and hit it harder, and then do another test where you take more club and maybe swing at 70, 80, and 90%. And then you'll track your score and your dispersions to see which one you're more accurate with. So for me, I've found that taking less club and swinging harder gives me a better dispersion around my target. But I think for most golfers, they might find the opposite. So this is a fantastic test you can do to give yourself a little more confidence when you're in between clubs on the course. Now let's talk about on-course practice. As you navigate the different practice environments in Trackman, you want to change the type of practice and, more importantly, build your way to more realistic on-course scenarios. For example, you might be working on a more technical element of your golf swing in the range mode. Can you work on your slice by moving your club path a little less out to in and gain that valuable feedback after each swing, measuring feel versus real? But what you want to do is balance the risk-free environment of the range with more situational practice that adds pressure. And that's exactly where the on-course practice feature shines. Do tree-lined fairways stress you out? Are you uncomfortable with holes that have a forced carry over water? Well, maybe it's time to create those scenarios and start hitting those shots with those visuals. Trackman makes this really easy. You can literally move your ball wherever you want on the course to create these scenarios for you. Okay, I'm still not done. As I said, Trackman has built a ridiculous amount of features into their practice environment. And the last mode I want to discuss is shot analysis. This is really your best friend if you're doing more intensive work on your golf swing. And recently they added a new AI motion analysis, which measures a lot of the data points in your static and dynamic parts of your golf swing. So I think this mode can be really handy if you're working with a swing professional. So you want to take some of the video work that they're prescribing you and see if you're hitting some of those benchmarks in your swing, or even goals with your club path or angle of attack. Another feature of shot analysis is that it's going to provide feedback on shot optimizations to identify areas for improvement. For example, you might notice that your spin rate with your driver is way too high, or that your peak height with your irons is too low. The software is going to identify this. So hopefully you understand what makes Trackman's practice software so unique and robust. For golfers who are demanding the best, in my opinion, you're not going to find a better option. I've given you just a few ideas on how to use all of these different software features, but there's plenty more that you could be doing. As always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to the Indoor Golf Shop staff. They are experts on Trackman and all of the other products they sell, and they're happy to help you plan out your